Welcome to Be a Voice on USALA Media. This is Britt James, and I'm really excited about today's show. Today, I have a great show lined up for you. I have two of my favorite people. I have Jenna Meissner and Monica Cryan from PHL17, also known as the DelCo Duo. Hi, ladies.
Hi.
Hi, Britt.
How are
We're so
you?
excited to be on your show.
I'm excited to have you back on my show. This is great, especially a whole new format.
I know, it's been a while.
It's been a while. It's been a while. COVID. I mean, I had you both in the studio prior to COVID. So here we're looking at almost like a 3 years. It's almost been 3 years.
3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
You kind of were like at the very beginning when our new show kind of kicked off. You were our first fan.
I am total fanboy of your show. Anything that you ladies do and everybody on PHL, I'm a fanboy of. But yeah, so I had Jenna on, I had you on, Monica. And then during COVID, I had Jenna, you came back on with Mama Meissner and with Tate.
Yep.
Right? Monica, I didn't get a chance to get you back on during the COVID.
You didn't invite my family.
I probably should have. I don't know. Would it have been as lively as having Mama Meissner on there?
I don't know.
Probably not
She's
as
a
lively.
character in herself, honestly. She could have taken the show alone, and I didn't even need to be involved.
Although Jenna and I always do say, like, her mom and my dad are very similar.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
They could be like a version of the DelCo Duo
yes, they could.
in the future.
They're
And
so much more Delco than us.
Oh my gosh. I always said Lynn needs her own show. I mean,
She does.
She really needs her own show.
Well, when I was working from home, I was working from her house, so she kind of had the opportunity to almost have a little bit of her own show. She was a constant character on PHL17, and then I went back to work, and
Do you think she misses you? working
oh,
from home?
absolutely. She used to like peer in. So where
She
I was
did.
working was like an office, and it had glass doors, and she would just peer
peek in.
in and watch, and I'm like, "Can you go away? Go away!" Like I felt like I was in high school again.
And you were living with Mama Meissner back then, right?
Yes.
Yes. And you are no longer doing that now.
No. We moved in with her right around COVID to help her out, and it was a nice experience. Love her to death, but we get along a lot better when we live in
Right.
separate homes.
You got the boot.
Yes.
You got the wait, she gave you the boot, Jenna? Did she tell you? it was
No,
time to go?
she didn't give me the boot.
Monica, tell me the truth. See, I'm gonna defer to
Jenna-
Monica.
No, this definitely was one of those cases. Jenna and Tate were ready for their own space.
Yes.
Oh, I bet.
They were like, "Oh, we're getting married."
But it was perfect. I mean, we hit the housing market right when it was the time to do it, and we love our home now. So thankful for the time we spent with her. But it was best for everyone.
That's excellent. And Monica, how did your family survive COVID? It's been a whirlwind for you. How old's your child now, Monica? How old is she?
I have two now.
You have
so
two.
That's we got busy during COVID.
Oh my God.
But the funny thing is, I'm in my head, I'm saying to myself, but she had a second child, didn't she? But once again, I'm really stuck in this like 2-year loop. I'm really having a problem with those
You
2
and a lot of
years.
people.
Yeah.
When somebody says to me, oh yeah, in 2018, I'm like, oh, last year. Like I keep thinking that's like a year or two ago,
right?
and that's like 5 years ago. So I'm stuck in this loop.
The lost years.
So forgive me. So there's two of them there now, Monica.
There's two of them. So Josephine, the oldest, is going to be 4.
Okay.
And then, yeah, I know.
Wow.
The baby is 1.5.
And the baby's name?
So they are at a really fun age. We're having a lot of, I know it sounds so cliche. I never thought I'd be one of those parents that's like, we're at a really fun age, but we are really having a lot of fun right now. There are some tough times. Both of them have their temper tantrums that, are typical with toddler years, but they're not in the terrible 2s or 3s. They're kind of, Joe's beyond that and the baby's not there yet. So this is fun. We're at a kind of a fun stage.
And what's the baby's name?
Eugene, after my husband.
I like that name. So do you call him Eugene or you call him Gene and Joe and Gene?
we call him Bubba.
Bubba. Nice.
Bubba.
Nice.
Yep.
I like that. I call my dog Bubba. Tito, I call Bubba all the time. It's such a great nickname.
It's just like big kind of cute people should be called Bubba.
Yep.
And
Well,
he's a
because
big kid.
Eugene doesn't look like his age. He looks older. He's a big kid. So.
Is he?
He's huge.
Nice. And how did Josephine take to Eugene coming in? How was all that?
Oh my gosh. I've always thought this, with my siblings, I love them and I just think they're great. But not like Josephine and Bubba. They are soulmates. They're so cute together. I love them. And
I think sometimes Josephine thinks that Eugene is her son.
Yeah.
And wants to protect him at all costs.
Absolutely.
Never wants him to get in trouble.
Oh yeah. Anytime I try to discipline the baby, she gets mad at me. She's like, Mama, no, don't do that. Because she tries to protect him so much. But it's almost, she's at that point now where she's really into weddings and marriage. So she wants to marry the baby.
Oh, gosh.
She constantly is like, Daddy's your husband and Bubba's my husband. I'm like, whatever, kid.
And Jenna, so, Monica has the 2. What's going on with you?
Well, my baby will be here in about a month and a half. So
Oh my gosh.
we're counting down.
A month and a
it's
half.
Crazy.
Yes,
Wow.
it's crazy. Yeah, so
Yeah.
he's due mid-June, and we're super excited. We're kind of getting into that stage right now where I'm getting a little bit stressed. Do we have everything we need? All the quote-unquote nesting.
Yeah.
So we'll see how these next couple of weeks go. But,
And-
we're really excited.
And she always asks me questions like just before we did the show. She's like, how many newborn diapers do I need? I was like, I don't know. Like, this is.
My sisters have kids, but everyone has such different opinions that I like to
Absolutely.
get as many as I can. And everyone parents very differently. I mean, my 2 sisters parent so differently. Monica parents differently than my sisters. So the more advice I can get, the better. And I know sometimes first-time moms are like, okay, enough of the advice. I don't want the advice. It's too much. But for me, it's like the more that I can kind of take in and then decide for myself if I like it or not, the better.
And what's been even more fun too with her is that she's due mid-June when I was due with Josephine. So a lot of times, month by month I can remember those like milestones and kind of different things that she's
Like the
asking.
first time your dress rips on air, Monica also had that happen as well.
Absolutely.
Because I refused to buy maternity clothing because, I'm like, I'm going to make these dresses work if it's the last thing I do. And it was a couple weeks ago where, one of them just couldn't do it. It could not go on any longer. And the side of it ripped. And Monica was like, this is bringing back so many memories. I remember this.
All my dresses ripped at the seams. So then she's like, oh, no, there's a hole. I said, all right, I got the stapler. And she's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, oh, I stapled all my dresses because they would always rip at the seam and you just staple the dress.
So during commercial break, she's like almost stapling my skin to my dress. And then we come back for weather and traffic and nobody knows the difference. So it's just another day.
Yep.
So no maternity clothing on air? No maternity clothing?
So far, no, I haven't worn any maternity clothing on air. I've gotten things like jeans and stuff because obviously I want to wear jeans and I'm not fitting into my, pre-pregnancy jeans.
Right.
So maternity jeans are a must. But as far as dresses, I'm just making work what I can for now.
Yeah, a lot of these dresses have like a lot of give, so you can kind of.
And some of them don't, like the ones that decide just to rip in the middle of a show.
Thank gosh for Monica and her stapler. That's great.
Yeah,
You know it.
she's a seamstress. So if you need anything hemmed or fixed, just come to PHL and we'll staple it for you.
Yeah.
My gosh, another show there for you. The DelCo Taylor.
Right.
So, that works really well. So, you're having a boy? Is that what you said? You're having a boy?
Yep, we're having a boy.
And you have the name picked out?
So we have 2 that we're kind of in between right now. I definitely want to go to the hospital knowing what we're naming him, but it's going to be more of, the next coming weeks we'll decide. But we haven't told anyone. Monica's like trying to get it out of me. But that's one thing where opinions I don't want. So yeah, we haven't told anybody our names yet. But the middle name I can share will be Lee, just because that's my middle name. And then my dad, his middle name was Lee.
Okay.
So we're going to name his middle name the same. But that's it.
That's interesting that you know the middle name.
Yeah.
The
Some
person.
people struggle more with the middle name than,
Right.
than the first name or don't even have a middle name. But
Yeah.
yep.
That's awesome, though. And good for you. Good for you for not sharing it. I mean, you know, people will give you your opinion no matter what. You know that, especially you. They tend to give your opinion. People come up to you ladies on the street and just give you their opinions on the street sometime, like unsolicited, not even knowing somebody? I mean, you two are in the public eye. I mean, you are on PHL17, you do the morning show, you know, weather and traffic. You now have your podcast, which turned into a nighttime show, which is taken over the DelCo Duo. Do people come up to you and give you unsolicited advice and opinions on the street?
I feel like I don't have that issue as much.
Gosh.
People are just coming up to me and they're like, I love you. You're great.
You're so funny. But there's Jenna. Let's go attack her.
And the other day, I swear, I was waiting for my car after eating dinner. My husband ran out to go get it because it was pouring rain. And this elderly man, and you know, elderly people tend to lose their filters, which I can't wait to get to that age where I can just say whatever. And
Without
it's just like, oh, you know, they're old, so it's fine. He said to me, oh, you look like that girl on TV. And I said, oh, you know, I do the traffic for PHL17. I'm Jenna. And he says, oh, we watch you every morning. And I thought, wow, this is going really nicely. And then he said, you look a lot better in person than in front of the camera.
We get that all the time.
I don't know how to take that. So I guess that I looked better to him when he saw me versus in the morning. But you know what? I get ready at 4 o'clock in the morning. Every day is not going to be wonderful.
My best day.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and the two of you are there. What time did you get to there? 4 o'clock in the morning? What time do you get to the station?
3:30.
Yeah.
3:30. So you're there at 3:30.
Yep.
Do you go in your sweats or pajamas, or I mean DelCo, so I assume pajamas, but I don't know.
Right.
Some people do.
Yes.
Oddly enough, we come in our dresses.
Yes. Just because, you know, Kelsey and Amanda will come in their sweats and then bring their dresses in. I just know for me,
Too much coordination.
I'll forget something like an undergarment. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, sometimes we'll have to wear Spanx. That's me. I have to wear Spanx sometimes. So if I don't get dressed in the Spanx in the morning before we get there, I'll forget them at home. So I'm just like, wear what I need to be on air in to the station at 3:30 in the morning. It's fine. It's not that bad. It's only like an hour and a half that I have to be in it before we're
And
live.
the less things you have to carry in with you,
Yes.
I think are the easier. Because I already have 3 bags that I'm trying to lug in with me. So
Jenna brings her bottles back and forth. So her water bottle, her
it's called
coffee,
cleanliness because I bring them home to clean them.
which is wild. You clean your coffee mug every day. That's crazy to me. I clean mine once a week.
Ooh, okay, hold on, Monica.
And
We're gonna
that's
just
where we
stop right
differ.
there. Hold on. You clean your mug
You
once
should
a
see
week.
the sides of her coffee mug.
I'm not. I once a week change out my coffee mug. That's it.
You change it
That's
out or
it, man.
throw it
Never
out.
publicly
You just
share
throw it
this.
away or what?
Listen, it makes me stronger.
Yeah, you throw it away.
Yeah, I throw it away.
Yeah.
Throw it away. All right. Well, then I can understand then. Cleaning it out, and that's a lot of
She
buildup and
says it
residue.
makes her stronger, but she's also had the stomach bug 10 times this year. So I think it's from the unwashed coffee cup.
That is not the coffee cup's fault.
It's your kid's fault.
It's the kid's fault. They bring
Okay.
home all the stuff from daycare.
Mhm. And this is why I have dogs. So we're good.
Yeah, right. Good life choices.
Yeah, exactly. Make those good life choices. So how long has the PHL17 morning show been going on that you've been, I know it started a few years back. And when did it start? What year was it? The inception?
So the actual show itself, prior to changes that it went through, was more 2015-ish was when we kind of came back on the air.
Right.
We reformatted everything in 2018.
2018.
So
October of 2018.
October of 2018 is when Monica and I started working together.
So then this October, it's 5 or 6 years.
So 2023, that would be 5 years.
5 years,
Yeah,
yes.
5
years.
years in October.
Wow, that's great. 5 years.
Yeah.
5 years
5
in your
years.
hometown market, you know?
Oh my gosh.
Love
yes.
it.
Monica,
Such
did you
a
ever
dream.
think-
Every time I think about it, that was when I was younger growing up. I knew I wanted to be in news and I wanted to get back to Philly so bad. And I can't believe I'm in my home market. It's awesome.
that you just saved me the question, because I say, Monica, did you ever think that you'd be coming back to your hometown and talking, and being on air in your home market and being there the face of PHL. I mean, you know, PHL is Philly. It's Philly through and through. And, you know, and it's funny because the both of you came at the same time to PHL17. You didn't know each other prior to?
Nope.
No, not at all.
We had some, I always say it, like parallel lives. And so we knew a lot of the same people because we had parallel lives. For instance, we both went to Catholic school growing up. We both went to all girls high schools that were basically down the street from one another.
Right.
And then you were in dance, which I had a lot of dance friends. And so that's how I had heard of Jenna beforehand because my friends used to dance with her and her sisters. And they were always like, did you know that there's this girl, Jenna Meissner? She's on PHL17. Can't you just get a job at PHL17? I was like, it's not that easy. Okay. And then all of a sudden I did get a job at PHL17. I was like, oh, here's the girl I was supposed to live up to. And she's like 5 years, 10 years younger than me.
Oh my gosh, I'm not 10 years younger than you. She's making herself sound old.
Yeah.
You are, because you just had a birthday, Jenna, right?
I did, yes. I just had a birthday.
29? I'll say 29.
Yes, 29. I thought you said 21. I was like, oh,
no. No, I don't need to.
Yes,
I don't need to butter you
29.
up. I already know you. We're good. 29. So, you know, that 29 years of age, 5 years on air in the Philadelphia market at 29 years of age in the same position, that speaks volumes. Both of you, it speaks volumes, you know, especially in traffic and weather. I mean, let's face it, you know, anchors, you don't really see a lot come and go sometimes in major markets, but traffic and weather is something that's sort of like a fluid or sometimes a rotating sort of thing.
Absolutely,
and, you know, how does that feel for the two of you? I mean, that shows that you made a mark. But Jenna, I mean, for 29, how does that feel?
I mean, it really was a whirlwind, kind of starting with PHL 17. I've said this story so many times. I think Monica could probably recite it for me, but like sort of just getting my foot in the door any way that I could have gotten, moved up in the ranks, I'd say. I started as a production assistant after being an intern. Then I worked a little bit on editing and as a photographer. So anything and everything behind the scenes until eventually the opportunity opened up to be able to do some traffic. So as a, 24-year-old going on television the first time, your first experience as a traffic reporter in Philadelphia was so terrifying. I think for the first 6 months, I would be sick to my stomach, like every morning, just because I was so nervous and scared that I was going to say the wrong thing, that I was going to mess up. And once I kind of overcame that, it turned into something that I really ended up loving. And, people always kind of look at like, oh, well, it's traffic, but I truly just find that it's a great position for me. Got a lot of range to add personality into it. Also do, my work on my live skills for television. Mm-hmm. And for Monica and I, we love that we've been such a constant for PHL 17. Yeah. I mean, this is a station that, it's no secret, has so many changes a lot. Mm-hmm. So the fact that we've been able to be constant and remain such good friends and have a great friendship, I think that's why our connection is sort of one that's pretty solid here.
Yeah, it's kind of like joining an organization and you go through the ups and downs with it because you really want to see it succeed. Like we really want to see our station and our shows do better and better each month, each year. So that's what we try and do. It's not just like something's handed to us. We're really behind a lot of what goes on at PHL 17. So that's what we're working towards, is to constantly make it better and be the constant. And I do love that our roles have really grown at PHL. Mm-hmm. Like, we just started out as weather. We just started out as traffic. But then we've made
this brand, this sort of branding of the DelCo Duo and the direction that has taken us in, I think has given us so much liberty to kind of, again, really show our personalities. And we're exactly like you see on TV. How you see us on TV, how you see us on the DelCo Duo is how you're going to see us when we talk to you in person or we see you on the street. It's the exact same.
Absolutely.
And I've experienced that, and I love it. I love the fact that, like, when I do get a chance to turn on the morning news nowadays and be able to see you, and I listen to you talk, and I hear Monica just, giving somebody a jab or something like that. Like, what you see is what you get. That is you. That is real life. You're not acting in any way, shape, or form for the cameras, and that's what I really like about PHL.
I have family. What'd you say?
No, I was just saying, and that's what I like about PHL17 is what I've noticed is that I know a lot of you on air, and you're able to use your personalities on air to be yourselves. And there's a lot of stations that you're not. It's almost like, and now this is the news. And you guys actually, you can laugh together, you can joke together, and I think that's what makes the chemistry so good, and
Absolutely.
It works.
I mean, I have family members when Monica started, like, is she really that crazy in person? and then once we obviously got close and Monica started coming to these family events like these, milestone things that were happening in our lives, like I'll go to her kid's birthday party. She came to the gender reveal, just like things that are not work related. My family and friends have been able to be like, okay, yeah, she is actually insane.
But in a very good way, and we have a lot of fun.
That's awesome. So the DelCo Duo, how did that start? That all of a sudden came out of nowhere. What was that?
It really did come out of nowhere.
Was it a 4 a.m. conversation one morning before the show?
No. It was after the show.
I see all my hours mixed together. I'm like, what time is it?
It was after the show, and it really kind of started when Nexstar, our parent company, started providing podcasting gear for all of the news stations that they were, under the umbrella.
That was the direction and future of media. Everyone was podcasting. So they wanted their talents to also be involved in podcasting.
Right. So then I said, okay. But one of the things I had noticed is that when we were during the show, the 4-hour show, a lot of times on commercial breaks, I would give my opinions. And I don't know if they were well received, but I still gave my opinion about a story we just talked about, because I feel like, and I think Jenna feels the same way, we have so many opinions about things that happen, and I want people to know them. Like, this is my opinion about things, and I want to give my thoughts and opinions, is originally how I thought about this podcast.
She wanted to have a podcast called Thoughts and Opinions.
And I would just give my opinion on things.
And I said, absolutely not. I said, that's not going to work.
I like that,
And so then Jenna said, why don't you just have viewers write in and about their problems and like situations, and you give your opinion or advice on it, kind of like the Dear Abby. And I was like, that's a really great idea. Why don't you do it with me? Since that was half of your idea. It was half, 50-50. 50-50.
50-50.
And then we started as a podcast.
Yep.
The podcast was really fun because we
no time limits.
Yeah, we could just talk and talk.
It wasn't like a television structure. We didn't need to go to commercial break. We didn't need to.
Those were the days.
We didn't need to follow cues. We didn't have like graphics that ran. It was very casual, and
you could wear your sweats if you wanted to, probably.
Right. And it was just a table, and we would just talk for 30 minutes. And I think they had like one spotlight on us, and that was it. It was like no production whatsoever. So then they approached us and said, listen, we have a sponsor for you guys. So this is going to turn into a television show now. And we had no idea that was even a discussion, or, that they were looking for people to sponsor the show or whatnot. And then that's when it turned into what it is today. And we have till this day have maintained, though, that we don't want there to be an overproduced show. So honestly, what we do is we have a rundown, because that's how our control room works. They need to have a rundown with things that are like graphics that are running, and
But
that's about the extent of production. Our pre-show meeting happens for 30 seconds before the show actually starts, and we say, okay, you'll say this, then I'll say that, and then we just see how the rest of the show goes.
Right.
So that's, I think, something really cool that we've maintained. We don't want it to be a big production.
No, we want this to be simple, easy flow, because that's when Jenna and I kind of work our best to give our opinions and give advice. If it was a totally overproduced show and there were a lot of elements to it and this, that, and the other thing, then we're not really getting down to the the meat and potatoes of it, which
Right.
is just us giving advice when people write in.
And at this point in time, how many shows have you done for the DelCo Duo?
Jeez. Well,
So we-
television shows, probably like close to 40. Yeah.
Okay. And it's
And
every
then-
week.
Every Saturday night.
Yep.
Yeah.
Every Saturday night,
What time?
11:30.
11:30 PHL
So
17
right
every
up there with
Saturday night.
SNL. Us and
Nice.
SNL.
You two are right parallel with SNL. Look at that. And you're still on. So that says something,
It's so interesting because I was such a huge fan of SNL growing up. Like I loved SNL. I always thought, I would love to go see it in person, if not partake in person.
I can see
but
that.
now I'm trying to steer everyone away from it. I'm like, watch us, not SNL.
That's great, though. 40 shows. 40
Yeah.
shows speaks volumes, first of all. I mean, that's just on air. I mean, you did shows prior to being on TV.
Yeah, I think we have 84 or 85 shows technically as a podcast to TV.
You two work together 5 days a week for 5 hours a day plus. You two do the DelCo Duo. You two are friends outside the station. How do you make that
And we
work?
go to church together on Sundays.
No,
that's not a joke.
No way. How do you make this work? How do you make this work? I can't stand being with myself for that long, let alone with somebody else.
To be fair, church, I go to the cry room and Jenna just kind of looks
I watch
behind
her
her.
struggle with all of her kids, and I'm like, I don't know that mom. She's a terrible mom. Stinks to be her.
When my kid's banging on the glass door and JoJo's like, Mama, there's Jenna. And I'm like, yeah, Jenna's going to pretend she doesn't know you. So
You'll be there soon,
it's
Jenna.
definitely.
yeah.
I have to be honest, though. I feel like I don't ever get sick of you.
No.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like I don't even know how to describe it. Like, I
Right.
just feel like I'm just so used to Monica just being a part of my everyday that it's just become like the norm. I don't think we've ever gotten into like a fight or.
Right. I think some of the reason is too, it's nice to have someone to go through all of this with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
Right.
I think when you're on air and you have all of these events that you have to go to, like I know I feel this way when I have to go to certain events. I love it, and I'm so happy to be invited to a lot of these like grand openings and these meet and greets. But it's nice to have someone next to you through it all, kind
Right.
of thing.
And that is nice because the two of you do have great chemistry. Like I said, on air, I mean, I'm not really sure how you do it, but the two of you do make weather and traffic fun. You really do.
Yeah.
And that's so important. I mean, and I think people don't realize that the two of you, it's not that you're just getting up there and you're reporting on the weather and traffic. You're preparing these reports. It's not like somebody's
Right.
feeding
That's
you
the
through a
most-
teleprompter saying, hey, Jenna, tell everybody that the traffic's really bad on 76 eastbound. You're the one that's preparing all that. And Monica, you're preparing all of your maps, your weather maps and everything for the air. So, and I also think, people don't realize that, yeah, you look great on the camera, but it's not just the outfit. You guys have like equipment attached to your bodies throughout
Yes,
this
a lot of
broadcast, And so, the job, how do you do it? How do you make that fun? I mean, you guys, you barely walk. You have like your legs mounted with like microphones and controllers and you're standing in one spot. How do you do it?
Well, I know for me, a lot of times weather is fun for me. There are times when weather gets mundane, but there's actually a passion for weather behind it. So that's why I love talking about the weather. Sometimes when I've been in the industry for more than a decade now, and there have been times where I've thought about, what if because I do like, I watch anchors or I watch like sports people, and I'm like, I don't think I could do that because I really love talking about the weather. And then that just gives me a good segment into also being a part of the news team. I love being a part of a news team. And so
Like being in studio.
yeah, it's just such a passion for me. And what I also think is really cool is Jenna and I have each done each other's job. Like I used to do, not for PHL, but I used to, for one of my older stations, do traffic. And there's a respect there because I've tried it and I was terrible. I was terrible at doing traffic. Not that you were terrible at doing weather, but you didn't love it.
No,
you know what I mean? And like
I did weather for PHL17 a couple of times, and I definitely
you had to should have covered a hurricane. The most veteran of meteorologists have a hard time covering hurricanes, and this girl,
I try to block that out of my memory. Honestly.
I don't know how you did that. Like, even just to know, like, where the winds were coming from.
Whatever the system said is what I said. So if I cover that hurricane for you, the computer covered that hurricane for you, because it generated it, and I was like, yep, sounds good to me. Like, obviously Monica's cross-checking a million things and looking at other aspects in the atmosphere, and the computer was like, it's moving at, this wind speed. So I'm like, perfect, this hurricane is going to move at that wind speed. But I think that's the most surprising thing for a lot of people. Like, they don't realize a lot of the other stations in this market, they have weather and traffic producers who help put their rundowns together. And I'm not saying that the other talent doesn't do anything. They absolutely do a lot of the forecasting, a lot of the traffic graphics, but they have help. We here, there's no help. It's just Monica. It's just me focusing on our own graphics. And I'm in the process of training my fill-in for maternity leave. And I think she was just really surprised by the fact of, like, what really goes into, building your separate rundowns and how quickly you have to do it. I mean, sometimes we only have a matter of less than 5 minutes between getting the reports together. It's definitely a lot of work behind the scenes, but it's a lot of fun too.
So you already have a fill-in? This is somebody brand new to PHL coming in fill-in?
No. So she works at PHL17 already. I'm not sure if there's a release or if I'm...
Well, she'll be on this Friday.
She'll be on this Friday, yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to tell me the name. I'm just interested because the reason I asked, I mean to cut you off, is because you're a dynamic to step into. You guys are a real dynamic to step into. And to be able to step into that dynamic from outside of would scare the hell out of me because it's a tight dynamic. That's why I ask.
Yeah, so part of the training and it's Alyssa Sullivan. I don't know if you know who she does reporting for us sometimes. So she's going to be filling in for Jenna, and
nobody will see this before Friday anyway, so we're good.
Right, we're fine. But so she'll be doing traffic. But what we've done as part of her training is kind of the tosses back and forth between each other. A lot of the sit down at the desk when we're just talking ad lib. That's kind of the hardest part of the show at times. So she's not only trained in traffic, but she's also trained at the ad libbing.
And I love that because...
You can only do...
Go ahead, Jenna.
I was going to say, you can only do so much training in ad lib because that's like such a specific skill that comes with being a on-air talent or an on-air broadcasting. I think a lot of people like ad-lib, you either have it or you don't. And for some people that's make or break depending upon what station you work at. So that's a hard thing to teach, but some people will be just fine.
Some people who have filled in for me had told me, like, I didn't realize how much ad-libbing was a part of this job. I thought, because most Mets are just Mets in other news stations, but so then they come here and they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe how much
talk so much.
You have to talk so much and you're involved in so much, but that's what we love about it too. That's why I love this job so much, is I'm not just the Met here. I'm also, a part of the show. Jenna's a part of the show.
And that's it. Like I was saying, like your morning show is one that doesn't, it's not a large production team. It's not a large crew. It's not a large team there. I mean, you're together.
Skeleton.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, when you're out, somebody's going to scramble to fill in. It's not like you could choose from 5 other meteorologists. You can't find 5 other traffic reporters. You can't do that. It's just you. So you really got to do it. And, Monica, I know Jenna hates when I'm going to say this, but people really think you're one of the funniest on the show there in the morning. They think you're probably the funniest.
He loves hearing that. What are you talking about? You can say it all you want. No, I've gotten that a lot, and I'd love to hear it. That I just feel like I'm connecting with people, and that's what I really want.
She says what you're thinking, but don't say. She says
what you're uncomfortable to say.
When she first started, I was still unsure if some of the things she was saying on air were allowed to be said on television. I was just thinking, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe she said that. But I think working with Monica has actually brought out more of that for me.
Right.
Because, so it's okay. I guess it's okay. So I feel like it's kind of brought out more of my personality because I see Monica's able to do it. So I'm like, okay, then I guess that's fine.
Like I've set the standard so low that Jenna's like, okay, I know I can say this because Monica said much worse and didn't get canceled yet. So I'm okay.
We'll use Monica as the barometer on what can be said then.
Yeah.
know?
That's the benefit of being a small station. The FCC, I guess they don't care about us because
They're clearly not listening.
They're clearly not listening. And I like that too. And it's funny because you do have a lot of tosses back and forth. You do throw it back and forth, and you do rebound well off each other. And I think that's what makes a DelCo Duo a good mesh. Right now, PHL17, you all are one of the few current all-female teams on air.
yes.
You don't
Yes.
see that in many markets ever, anywhere, any city, small, medium, large, whatever the case may be. But right now, PHL has been doing it, and you've been pulling it off for quite some time, and it's working very well. The chemistry is doing awesome. How does that feel, though? I mean, that's an all-female. That's a powerful cast. That's a powerful team.
Yeah, we love it.
Yeah, you don't see it in Philadelphia, and I think that, or in many other markets. And I love the women that I work with. They're all, strong females, but we also get along really well together.
Yeah.
So, sometimes there's definitely like that, narrative that women bicker a lot and are tough in the workforce. You don't see that with us. The four of us, the main people on air, and then reporters and everything, just really get along, and it really works for us.
And that's not saying there's no difference in opinions, because we share a lot of difference in opinions when we are talking about certain topics. And even on television, you'll see sometimes like two of us might go one way, another person might go a different way. But it's that mutual respect amongst all of us that I think really works well. So it's cool. It's a cool dynamic.
It doesn't get catty like some people would think an all-female cast would be.
It's not like we're pushing each other down the stairs or anything.
My God.
As you know what I mean?
No, you don't have to. As a matter of fact, I see Kelsey trip down the stairs on video without having to be pushed.
Oh,
so
yeah,
we're good.
that was funny.
That was really funny. And I had asked her if I could save that. And she was like, don't you dare. I'm like, well, then don't post it, because that's something that I'll like hold on to for a while and bring back like a year or two from now and be like.
We wanted to air that on TV, and they said that she looked like she actually got too hurt. So they didn't want it to come across that it was like an unsafe work environment.
Or like that we were being like insensitive. I mean, her whole foot twists under, and then she just goes down. And then after we realized she was okay,
Then it was funny.
Well, not just that. I hate to talk about her when she's not here, but she'll hear this. After she did it, she looked back at the stair like it was like the stair's fault.
Yeah.
She like turned to look at the stair like, what did you do to me? It was like her ankle but she got up and she composed herself well and she walked out, not knowing the camera was up above her videoing it and everything.
It's one of those things where you're just so embarrassed because you're alone that you're like, oh, that was so embarrassing, and I'm just by myself now, like walk ashamed to my car because.
But she did tell us about it, because how else would we have known to pull the footage? Like, we don't just pull our camera
Security
video.
footage,
And she's like, man, I went down the other day, and then we were like, oh, we got to watch.
So she set herself up. She told you about it and you pulled the footage.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's just stupid.
And then we were like, you got to watch.
So speaking of, errors, or speaking of these type of embarrassing things, Jenna, what's the most embarrassing thing that has happened to you on air?
Oh,
or do
gosh,
you feel?
on air?
Yeah.
I really got to think about that. That's a hard question.
That's good then, because not much has happened, or you don't get embarrassed easily. I'd ask Monica, but I think she doesn't get embarrassed easily. So
that is very true.
I would say probably in my earlier days, like I definitely have said things the wrong way, or sometimes I'm always someone that I can't get like a phrase right. Like, for example, like it takes two to tango. Like I know that's right, so I'm confident in saying that, but I typically get those types of phrases.
Oh, I could name a few
completely
things
wrong.
That you always, the phrases. One time on air, I think this was on air, she called it the Heimlich remover. And I was like, it's maneuver, right? And she's like, what? No, you're removing something.
You're removing something lodged in the throat. It is the remover. It is the Heimlich remover. I don't care what anyone says.
But I can't.
But it's things like that. Like, well, no, that's a special example.
That's just because she thought it was the remover.
I did, yes. Or like an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Like whatever those things are called, I'm normally getting those wrong on TV.
Yeah.
So I just try not to say them.
She is.
So you just try not to say some cute little phrases. Just stick with, what you know.
Yeah.
And Monica, anything embarrassed you on there in just 10 years in this decade you've spanned?
You sat on chocolate that one morning and looked like you pooped your pants.
Yes, I did. I sat on chocolate. And then like, you know, I sit on chocolate. Thank gosh you can't see it because it's like on my booty. But instead of Jenna being like empathetic, she goes, and I quote, "You probably shouldn't be eating chocolate this early."
She had on a light pink, beautiful dress that now looks like she had an accident because she sat on chocolate. So,
and then Jenna goes, "You probably shouldn't be eating chocolate this early." And that's it, man. Keeping me in line.
A little victim blaming there, Jenna. A little victim blaming.
Yeah, really.
Monica, would that have really embarrassed you though? Somebody was like, "Oh my gosh, she has chocolate on her dress."
No, I would have had a field day with it, but I think because it was on my backside, and you don't see my backside that much, I didn't.
There was no reason to show.
There was no reason to like just like. I think I showed it a few times on air, but that's the fun of it.
They don't encourage, you know, shaking your butt and turning around on TV, apparently.
But I do it a lot. So.
At least not on PHL17. So you know, there may be other shows that, you know, for the ratings. But
right, exactly. A little more uptight, but not us. No.
Exactly. You know, you also do other fun things. Y'all get a chance to like get out of the studio. You're not in there 5 days a week, especially with the summer coming up. You got some great weather coming. You get to go down the shore, get some segments.
Yes, down the shore. I was recently at the Phillies for opening day.
You were?
So I was doing weather from
That's right.
from the Citizens Bank Park.
So you were there opening day, Citizens Bank Park. You by yourself, just you chilling.
Yeah, no, I did the weather from there, and so I had a photog, and they sent a producer down. I mean, we're really elevating ourselves at PHL. We used to never have producers, but now if I go live from somewhere, just because I have to do weather, plus do some of the interviews, plus talk about things and whatnot, they do send a producer, which is really, really nice. So I was there for Citizens Bank Park. I was at Citizens Bank Park for the morning show talking about the weather because that was the game that had been rained out.
Right.
The original opening day was rained out and then they rescheduled for the next day. So, it was very weather dependent and it was, weather was playing a big role into the opening day. So it was fun to be there live.
Yeah. How about that? That weather for opening day, they were canceling everything. They canceled the entire day, and I don't even think it drizzled.
It did. It rained. It stormed.
You said it, Britt.
It stormed. The problem was it stormed at like 9 o'clock. They would have been able to get the game in before the storms moved.
They called it too early.
They did. They called it,
a day ahead of time? Yeah.
They call it later.
Yep.
No drizzle, no nothing. Everything was intact.
Later. There were storms.
Don't be defensive. There's no reason for defensiveness right now.
To be fair, there were storms.
It's okay. Listen, you weren't the only one. If you were the only one that would have said the storms are coming in, I would have been there to something wrong with Monica.
Right.
However,
I was 1 out of 10.
This was a national thing that, there was supposed to be this monsoon coming through.
Well,
and
MLB technically called it.
Yeah, they got panicked real quick. They panicked real quick and canceled all East Coast games.
Yeah.
I think because they were like, oh, we'll just move it back to Friday. It'll become more of a party. Remember, it was a Thursday and then they moved it to Friday. I was like, okay, this is out of my hands.
And Jenna, this is where people, I got to tell you, this is where people, Jenna, probably turn to you and they're like, thank you, Jenna Meissner. You got me around this traffic in the morning. You got me out of the bad areas. But you know what, Monica Cryan? You told me it was going to be a nice day and it poured all day. I mean,
a lot of people actually, they're so set in their ways on how they get to work and how they get to school that they don't check anything. They don't, they'll just get in their car and then you get the aftermath of, well, why did it take me an hour to get to work today? And it's like, well, I told you there was a crash, but people just hop in their cars and go.
Oh, yeah. Or even sometimes when I know there's traffic, like I don't know of any detour to take. So I'm just like, I'm just going for it.
Takes it anyway.
Yeah. No matter what.
So people definitely can get mad in the traffic world too, but not as much as weather. I think weather gets it a lot more.
Yeah, weather. And it's so funny, because you never heard him say, well, they said the roads were going to be clear. Well, who's they? Well, the traffic report, when you say they said, who's they? The weather people,
Well, that's like the best. Like, I wish I could be paid to be wrong.
Oh, I hate
people
that.
love to say that.
That is so
People love
ridiculous.
to say that.
Do you ever just respond with I don't make it up, I just report it?
No, because I am doing my own forecasting. So I cannot say I don't blame me, because it is my own forecast, but it's so accurate. It boggles my mind that people are like, oh, you get paid to be wrong. You're like, I am so much more accurate than like an MLB player. I am so much more accurate than an NBA, than the phone, than, doctors. How many times have you go to a doc, and I love doctors. I love you doctors. But, you go to a doctor and they're like, oh, well, it could be this, it could be that, or why don't we see if this works? So it's like, no, give me an answer. I feel like Mets give answers. We give you the forecast. And for the most part, I think they say now it's like the 7-day forecast is 90% correct. Like on average, a 7-day forecast is 90% correct. I mean, that's a really good average right there.
That's really good. I mean, that day was just a fluke, and I'm just giving you hassles about that day. Yeah, you had nothing to do with it anyway, but that day was crazy. It was crazy that the whole world was canceled, that day, and nothing happened. And
opening day, that's tough.
But that happens with anything, whether it's snow, rain, whatever. Everybody's battening down for snow to come, and we get nothing. So
nothing.
It is what it is. That happens. I mean, you can only report what you can report. You can only do so much.
Yep.
Jenna, if you had to choose any other occupation than being on TV, what would it be?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I think about this a lot. I was really interested in law school, so I think that I would have maybe gone in that direction, been a lawyer possibly. With my senior inquiry when I was in high school, when we had to follow, a career path that we might be interested in, my family friend at the time was the head of the homicide unit in Delaware County. So I went and spent the day with him and went from crime scene to crime scene and sort of, saw the inner workings of investigators. So, like CSI and, all those types of like FBI type shows I used to love watching. So maybe something within the law, maybe lawyer, but I just, I think took a 3 or 180.
I think you would have been good at that. I think you would have been really good at that. But
I'm good at arguing. Yeah.
Yes.
How about you, Monica? What do you think of?
I mean, I've always something like a skit show, like SNL. I love that. But I feel like that's
stand-up comedian.
No, I wouldn't want to do that. No way, Jose. But like SNL, like being a part of like a fun show, like when they just, when you see like the outtakes or some of the behind
The Office. She would have liked to be on The Office.
Yeah, something like fun. But that's still to kind of so relevant to our industry, the broadcasting communications kind of on air type of thing. But if I was to do a total 180, maybe like be a doctor. I've always just,
We could have been making so much more money is essentially what we're saying.
Yes.
A lawyer and a doctor.
A doctor.
We could have been really rich.
I loved seeing, a lot of times when there would be like emergencies and they're like, is there a doctor here? I wanted so bad to be that
I'm
person.
I'm a doctor.
I'm a doctor. Here I come. I just wanted that so bad. But I get nauseous with blood.
Yeah,
so.
I was going to say, I can't be around blood. So
I can't.
You could be a PhD then. That would work. You could be, that could be really well. And it's interesting because when you have a career that you love and something that you enjoy doing, it's hard to really think about what else you would want to do because you get up and you just sort of do this. And, the two of you, when you are on air and when I, see you off air or individually, you can tell that exudes naturally. So it's not just like, this is a job for us. This is your life. This is what you love to do. You enjoy it.
Right.
And that truly is awesome.
Yeah. I always say, the first 5 minutes of my day when my alarm goes off are the hardest. Yep. It's
waking up's the hardest.
That's a job, is waking up.
And what time do you wake up?
It's smooth sailing.
Like 2:15, 2:30.
I'm up at 2:30.
And
up 2:15.
2:15, 2:30, and you get yourselves ready and you're out the door by 3:45?
So
I try and get out the door by like 3:10.
Yeah. Because we have to be in here by 3:30.
Yeah.
If I get up at 7 a.m., it's hard for me to get out the door by 9 a.m. So I don't know how you do that.
That's what I'm saying. Every time I'm driving in the car and I'm like, gosh, this is so miserable. I'm like, this would be so much more fun. and so
it's nice because we get to go home now and have our entire day to sort of do what we want with it. I mean,
right.
With kids, I know you love the schedule.
I do. I sometimes feel like with this schedule, I get to be, I work full time and I get to be a full-time mom, which is, it's exhausting.
Sounds really tiring.
It's exhausting.
I'm scared.
I just keep thinking like I'm going to be there for a lot with my kids and I'm really excited about it.
That's excellent. So, Monica, I know it's a question you've probably been asked tons of times, but how has being a mother changed you?
Oh, how has it changed me? Not at all.
I was going to say, when Monica came back from both of her maternity leaves, I did not notice any sort of major life change in her.
Yeah, that's kind of what I wanted. I didn't want to, I wanted to be the same person. I was terrified that when I came back, I wasn't going to be as energetic. I wasn't going to be as much fun. I wasn't going to have a good time with Jenna. Like me and Jenna were going to lose our spark. You know what I mean? I was afraid our relationship was going to suffer. I didn't care about my relationship with my husband. That can go dry. I really don't care. But with like Jenna, I was like, I hope like we still have the same friendship. And like with Kelsey and Amanda, like, am I still going to have that chemistry?
So much happens every day at this place. You are out sick one day, you come back the next day, and it's like, wait, what has happened? It's just constant. So.
Yeah, and so that's what I hope all moms feel, is that they're still the same person. They're still awesome. You didn't lose anything when you became a mom.
I love it. And Jenna, you scared?
I'm not scared. I'm just, I don't know. You don't know I don't know how it'll change me, if it won't change me, or it's time will tell. I think I have a great, partner in Tate. All he wanted to do his entire life is be a dad. So I know that I'm going to have a great support system with him. And I'm more excited, but obviously definitely nervous for it's a whole new chapter of life. Mm-hmm. So definitely apprehensive a bit, but more so excited, I'd say.
Well, this is great though. You have a lot of great role models.
Yeah, there's no concern with her. She's going to knock it out of the park. And sometimes she does, like, if, someone will ask me about like this, that, or the other thing, she'll go, I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
Like, I don't want to know anything about labor. I don't want to know how this baby is exiting. I don't want to know that. I just want to arrive and then have my child. So yeah, I'm kind of at that stage right now where if it's anything like, the final stages of pregnancy, I'm just kind of like, la, la, la.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Ignore.
It happens.
Let me ask, and I was on the way over here, out of all things I was thinking, stuck in traffic today and stuff, I'm thinking about the fact that like the last time I saw you, Jenna, was at one of the events for Philly Current.
Right.
And, automatically when you see somebody that or at least me that, is expecting child and they're pregnant, this automatic reaction of somebody to put their hand on your stomach, to be like, oh my gosh, like, why is that? And how annoying is that?
I actually haven't gotten that a ton, which okay. I have my baby shower coming up. So I think that'll probably be happening a lot at the baby shower, just because, we're there literally talking about this baby.
Right.
So, and a lot of these people I haven't seen, or they haven't seen my bump, or haven't seen, mm-hmm. So I think that'll probably happen a lot. But as far as like strangers, or it really hasn't been an issue for me. And, people, a few of my friends will ask first, like, oh, can I feel it? And I'm like, absolutely. Like, that's fine with me. So yeah, I haven't experienced that too much. I think people are kind of better about it nowadays than maybe previously.
Changed a lot. It's changed a lot. Like, that's just, I think a lot of it has to do with people just avoid people altogether for so many reasons. Like,
you don't want to assume someone's pregnant and then they're not pregnant. You don't want to, you know what I mean? Like, you got to be really careful when you're asking someone if they're having a baby.
Everyone knows you're pregnant.
Well, yeah. You can't tell from the screen, but
Because I would be more apt to like, oh, Jenna than Monica, because Monica, I might lose a finger or two if I did that and she didn't want me to.
I did that to you, I think, all the time, though.
You did.
I did it to Monica a lot, and now looking back on it, I'm like, oh, now I know what it's like to be pregnant. Maybe
So
I should
annoying.
touch Monica's stomach all the time.
I don't mind it. You know me, I love attention. So I'm just like, any way I can get it.
Touch my stomach. Go ahead. Rub it. It's all good.
Yeah.
It's funny. I had a flashback to the Hugh Grant, Sandra Bullock movie where he looked at the one woman and he said, when are you expecting? What do you mean when I'm expecting? I'm not. So to say that, you know, if you never saw that part of the movie, I'll send you that clip. It's hysterical, but it's actually, you know, scary. It's sad. They say something like, you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful.
You do.
Ladies, I could talk to the two of you for hours. Because I could talk for hours.
I love it.
We could talk back for hours.
Honestly.
That's why I know. That's what I mean. I could talk for hours. You could talk for hours. This thing could go on for hours. I just don't, you know, the producers don't like me talking for longer than that time. So, but if I had
to feel that.
Yeah. And you know, that's the whole thing.
Are constantly yelling at us to shut up.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, that's what these are for. You know, wrap it up. You know, that whole thing in the background, whatever the case may be. But, you know, Monica, you know, growing up, everybody says this is what I want to be when I get older. I want to be this or I want to become that. And now you have found this career. You have found this niche. You have found this family. What advice would you give to other young ladies, other young people that want to follow their career goals and their dreams? What would you tell them?
That it's not going to start out naturally. You have to work at it. You have to work at it. And when you feel like you might not be good enough, just keep practicing and then you'll get there. And you'll naturally good at what you want to do in your career. Just because you might not feel comfortable in the beginning doesn't mean years down the road you won't feel comfortable. So just keep at it and keep going.
I love it. I love it. That's amazing. Jenna, how about you? I mean, what would you give?
Yeah, Miss Natural right here. Just walk in.
No, I would say, you know, take any and every opportunity, even if it sounds like something you don't want to do. If it's in the general range of somewhere that you see yourself going, there's no shame in starting at the absolute bottom of the barrel, you know, someone that other people who you look up to don't even maybe look at you and just assume like, oh, that's an intern or, oh, you know, there's no shame in taking whatever job you can to work your way up. And you have to be willing to put in that work. And if you're willing to put out the work, then you will be rewarded for it. So just keep on keeping on.
I love that. That's great. So Jenna, and if people want to follow you and follow your world, where would they find you on social media? How would they get a hold of you?
So on Instagram, I'm at Jenna Meissner TV. And then on Facebook, Jenna Meissner. And I don't even know if people are still doing Twitter nowadays because it's just such a mess. But Jenna PHL17 if you want some traffic updates.
She doesn't have a blue check mark. She's not paying.
Elon Musk took my check mark.
You can now buy one for $14.99 a month, though, I hear.
Yeah.
You know, and you could be verified. I would rather have them take my blue check mark away than give me one for that at that point in time.
I just think everybody keeps thinking like once the blue check mark's gone, so is Twitter. No, we still have accounts. Yeah. We just don't have the blue check mark next to our name.
It's just no verification, you know, and that's fine. Right. What does that really mean? So, do you use Twitter much, Jenna? Are you?
I use it for the morning just to post like traffic updates, but Instagram and Facebook is probably where I post more of like my fun, personal, work-related, you know, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And how about you, Monica? Where would they find you out there on the social media lane?
Yeah, I'm at Monica PHL17 for Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
She keeps it easy.
And then ever since they took the blue check mark away, I've had a guy impersonating me, Monica PHL17.99. If you want to follow him, he might be posting some good content out there. Oh.
Did you get my message the other day? I was followed by Monica Cryan _.
Oh, good.
Oh, my God.
Yes. I sent you a message. Check your DMs on IG, and I sent you a message that Monica Cryan _. And then I felt really good because that person didn't follow anybody else in PHL, but they followed me. I'm like, Monica
And if
Cryan
they're
doesn't even
putting out
follow
some
me.
good, wholesome content, it's probably not me. I'm not really good at sending out content.
I think they were using content of you from when you first started a few years back.
Oh
God.
my gosh, that's so funny. So
I
yeah,
can't believe we're still like catfishing. Like, what year is it?
You know, I think at first, you know, that catfishing was a form of flattery. Now it's just really annoying.
Now, yeah.
Like, get a life, people. Get a life.
Right.
You know?
and
Well-
stop taking mine.
Exactly. You know, and if you want mine, pay for my bills. You know, then we'll talk.
Right.
You know?
There you go.
And ladies, so Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 9
9.
a.m., 5 to 9, every Monday through Friday, and every Saturday night at 11:30 from 11:30 to midnight.
Midnight.
The
Party.
DelCo Duo.
Yep.
I love this. I love the
Enjoy it.
lives that you are creating. I love what you have built. I love your attitude and your
Thanks, Brett.
energy. I love seeing you both.
You've been
you
with
know?
us since the beginning.
I know, and I love it. I love it. I feel like I'm one of you. I'm like the ultimate
Yeah,
fanboy. Well, ladies, I wish you the best continuation with PHL17, with the DelCo Duo. Monica, with your family and with JoJo and Eugene,
Really?
I hope they give you a run for your money until they're 20-some years of age and then some, because
They are.
that's what children are for. And Jenna, you know, to you and Tate, you know, you guys are going to be in for a great path ahead, I'm sure, because I know the two of you have such a strong bond already that, you know, having this child is just going to make it even better. So congratulations. I'm really happy
thanks,
for
Brett.
you.
Thanks.
You got it.
We're
Thank you
excited for baby
for
Jenna.
baby X. We'll call it baby X for now. So, and anybody who isn't following Jenna or Monica, make sure you get out there. You follow them on their social media platforms. Make sure you're watching PHL17 Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. and the DelCo Duo every Saturday night from 11:30 to 12. And you're not going to be disappointed, that's for sure, because I ain't. Monica, Jenna, thanks so much for coming today. Everybody else out there, this is Brick Carpenter on USALA Media. Whatever it is you stand for, be a voice. Have a great rest of your day.